Get a roll call, please.
Chairman Winters,
Here.
Vice Chairman Wilson,
Here.
Commissioner Davis,
Here.
Commissioner Ezell,
Here.
Commissioner Rogers.
He's out still with a broken hip, so I spoke with him earlier. If everyone would stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have the minutes from March 14th meeting. Any discussion on those? Has everybody had the opportunity to look at them?
I make a motion, we approve the minutes. Second.
We have a motion to second to approve the March 14th minutes. Have a roll call, please.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Ezell,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Wilson,
Yes.
Chairman Winters.
Yes, ma'am. Looks like we have 7 cases on the docket this evening. First one on the docket is 711 State Line Road. Can we get an update on that one, Mr. Ritchie?
Yeah, so there is not much of an update. Very little progress has been made. I did get a quote. I stopped at one because it was over 10,000. I was asking, or staff asking for over $10,000. We can't. Council's approval.
Have you heard from Mr. Watkins?
I've talked to him a few times. He was supposed to have surgery and then haven't seen him or talked to him since.
I went by there today. There was a pickup truck loaded down with, in the back of it was car tires. It was hooked to a trailer, and on the back of it was just a bunch of junk. And it's like it's purposely blocking the driveway and things where nobody can pull in.
I did get a call from a citizen, and he's had some more stuff delivered in there since then. And
Okay.
he's kind of barricading himself in.
There he is, if you want to call him up here.
Mr. Watkins, good, please, sir. Would you state your name again for the record, please, sir?
Larry Watkins.
Okay. Would you advise us on what kind of progress you've made since we were here last time?
I've made quite a bit. You might not can see it, but I've made a good bit. I'm proud of what I've done. I got the motorhome empty. I got it ready to haul out of there. I didn't mean to cut you off. I did. I apologize.
Okay. Mr. Ritchie, anything you want to update with him as far as?
I mean, Mr. Watkins just said, you can't see a whole lot of progress. I know he says that there has been. Again, I don't see it either as driving by the property.
But Charlie, if you stop in sometime, I'd be more than happy to show you what I'm getting done there, brother. It's not stuff you can see from the road, but it's making a forward progress. I want you guys to understand that I'm not trying to, I want to get this done because this is wearing on me like you wouldn't believe.
What have you got any plans for the truck sitting out next to the road, the motorhome?
I've got plans for all of it, sir. I want it all gone. I wish to God I could blow it up. I would. I'm
Well,
sick
have you
of
got
it.
any place you could take these vehicles?
Sir,
These vehicles that are sitting in front of your property? Do you have
Right.
anything? Do you have any means of taking them to any other location where they can store
I don't
vehicles?
see why I should have to. I don't understand what makes this body tell me that I can't, on private property, have what I desire. I don't understand how that works.
Well-
And maybe somebody could educate me on that. Because, I didn't come to your house, or your house and tell you anything. I'm assured that like right up here on Ringgold Road, I could find some things wrong. Y'all can't see it, but I can. There's a post up there with screws sticking up right next to the sidewalk. If somebody tripped and fell on it, it would impel them. But nobody can see that. I see it. I've got pictures of it. There's a trash can turned over that's been turned over for 3 years. Nobody can see that, but I can.
Well, if you drive through any of the neighborhoods, Mr. Washington, you can see there's no motorhome sitting in front of the vehicles. I mean, in front of your residence. None of the cars are.
Well, I tend to
Well,
disagree.
just show me an example, okay?
Well,
If they're in violation, codes enforcement's gonna write them up. And
But I
these
don't snitch on
vehicles,
people.
these vehicles sitting in front of your property have been sitting there for years. I mean, it's not like they've been there for 30 days. We've gone back over this over and over again. And some of those vehicles have been sitting there probably what, 5, 10 years?
only two. Only two. The
Just,
camper?
well, that's two.
Okay, well, that's two.
but
I mean, that's, but
If they
again,
were beside your house or in the back of your house,
right?
it would be a different story. But they're sitting right along the side of the front road.
Well, I've cut trees and I'm making room. I'm doing things in the back. I'm pulling stuff out, trying to anyway. And I'm trying to make progress. And again, I don't understand how I got to this juncture in my life where I let 4 or 5 people have this much authority over me. I mean, I believe in the Constitution. Is this what I went overseas for? Is this what I went overseas for?
Well, I know you didn't create the problem initially because we went back and this property has been that way for about 50 years. We've talked about that.
Right.
It's accumulated debris. And
There's no debris.
and about 100 years
They do.
ago, when the city incorporated, you know, they adopted rules and regulations and zoning ordinances. And, you know, if you're going to live in the city of East Ridge, you've got to comply by these ordinances that the people have adopted. It affects everybody's property values and just the general appearance of the neighborhoods. And it's not right for you to sit out there with these abandoned vehicles and
Not
all of this
abandoned.
debris that's
All
been
right.
there for years. We're just trying to get you to clean the property
I'll
up.
be more than happy to. I shall. I promise
We've
you
been
I
through
shall.
this before.
But
and,
I know, but I've had surgery.
Did
I've
you-
had surgery done. I can't get out there. I'm not gonna get out there and kill myself. I want every one of you to know that now. I'm not, and please, don't take the stress in my voice as being confrontational because it's not.
Yeah.
I'm just merely trying to say that I want it to look nice. I want it to look good like it used to. And for God's sake, I'll never let it get like that again. I promise you that with all my heart.
What happened to your help you had?
Sir?
The individual that came here with you?
David, well, David has to work to support his lifestyle, and I understand that, and he's helping me as much as he can. He'll loan me his machine, and I'm gonna get his machine back up there and do some things with it when I get to feeling like it. But I've gone to the Chattanooga Cancer Center. I've now got cancer. Yay. How much worse can y'all make it on me? How much harder can you poke me with that stick? Please stop. Let me get the yard cleaned up. Let me do what I can when I can. And for God's sake, let me live what few years of life I got left. Chances are I won't live to be 75. Let me live these few years in peace, please. And I promise you, I'll make it look good out there because I know your property looks good, don't it?
Not bad.
Well, there you go. But then you're a healthy man, aren't you?
Sure.
Well, all right, I'm not.
Can I ask how long you've been coming here for the same issue?
Too long.
How long is that?
I don't know. You tell me. You got the record back there, sir. I don't have the.
Actually, it was before I was on this board, so it's been several years.
Well, again, now we'll go back to this grandfather thing. I don't understand why the property's not grandfathered. I mean, I understand I want the stuff out of the front, but I just want to stop coming here. I mean, I thank the world of you guys. I think you're doing a great job, but I don't like seeing you every 30 days.
But
I
it's
know y'all
still-
don't like seeing me.
Can I ask who the rightful owner is?
Well, it's not, it was his heirs. And legally, it's not in your name until you go to the courthouse and get
Right.
it, changed
But
over
you're
in your
not,
name.
but you're not
Well-
grandfathered to me. You're grandfathered to property.
Well, it will not be grandfathered in.
I'm sorry.
It will not be grandfathered
Why?
in. Well,
One, it has to do with it creates a health hazard and nuisance for not only the city, but the neighbors that live around you.
Well, let me tell you something about my neighbors that live around me. There's several of them moved in there within the last 2 years, over a year and a half, 2 years. So it's not hurt the value of the property. But again, I don't want it to be like it is. I
Well,
want to change it,
I
but I
think
can't do it overnight.
on our last meeting, we had agreed to put it out to public bid
Yes, sir.
for the city to hire somebody to go out and clean that
Right.
property up. And Mr. Ritchie just stated before you came in, one bid came in, and I think, you stated it was over $10,000.
But
to
I
clean
don't
the
need that
property
help.
up.
And I don't need that help.
I ask, with the condition of the yard, all the vehicles being in front of the home, what possibility does this create for EMS or fire to get to the house in the case something happened to Mr.
You can get there
Watkins?
just fine, not a problem.
I've got somebody that can answer that much better
Okay.
than me, right here.
Okay,
Oh.
because not only that, it's a risk for our first responders, not only for you, but also for them as well, if they can't properly do their job, because if something's impeding them from getting to the structure. Or to you, if you had an emergency.
Hopefully if I have one, I'll just die and then it'll all be over. You know,
So just with the amount of combustibles around there, I mean, if something did catch fire around there, that
It's gonna be,
but then
could
that's,
be bad.
but then that's true with my next door neighbor. That's true
well,
with anybody around.
but your next door neighbor's not standing here. They're not the ones that got cited. You're diverting or trying to divert us from what we're trying to deal with and why we're here today.
Understand.
So, and you ask about the grandfather in, you'll never grandfather in an ordinance that has to do with the safety and of the community. We haven't got to the process, to the point yet where we label it as a nuisance property, but I don't think we're too far from that.
Again, please stop poking me with these sticks. I told you I shall clean the property up. I promise you I will. I have no reason not to because I realize that I want the property back. I want to be able to get out there and enjoy myself. But, well, y'all not gonna look into the water, so there's no need for me to even mention that again, because that's gonna be my problem, right?
Well,
The
we have
water
no
that-
control over the water.
Sir,
We have no control or influence over the water in any
apparently I don't
way.
either, because I
Uh,
can't get it fixed.
So,
Mr. Watkins, we're really, for the citizens. We're a liaison, between codes enforcement, and the citizens of East Ridge. And we want to make sure that nobody steps on your rights,
Well, so
to do
far,
what's right. But
got zero.
you've got to show the willingness to get into compliance.
I'm trying my best, sir.
But
I
it's
don't know
been
what else I
going
can
on
do. I
for
took
so
every-
many months, it's been going on for such a long time. And we just don't see anything happening. We don't see you
Well,
making
like I
any
said,
effort.
sometime when you drive by there, if you'll stop, I'll be more than happy to show you things that's happening.
I
You
was
can't-
by your house day before yesterday.
I understand you're by there a lot. And I mean, that's okay. Stop in sometime and say, hey, stop in and help if you can. If you feel like helping, please do. I can use all the help I can get. I'm just
Yes,
not
sir.
able anymore. And I wish to God I was.
Okay, Mr. Rich here, we're going to continue to get other estimates on, Or-
Since the one that I had was over 14.5 $1,000 mark.
Are you serious?
Mhm.
that's more money,
What?
Mr. Watkins, than it takes to demolish a whole property. Just to clean your property up, the first estimate he got in is over $10,000. That's
I
more
wish-
than it takes to demolish a complete home and haul it off.
I wished I knew what vessel I chose to get in this position.
We're
Because
just accumulating junk
because
in vehicles.
I don't consent to any of this. We don't have a meeting of the mind. I mean, I understand that it don't look good in the front, but I'm doing the best I can. I've had surgery. I'm going to Chattanooga Heart Institute. I'm going to the Chattanooga Cancer Center. And I just don't know how much more hell we can put on me. I don't know how much, I mean, for God's sake, get off of me a minute. Give me a chance to show you something. And then I don't know what else to say. And forgive me if my tone's not what it ought to be. I apologize, but I don't feel good. I have a low-grade fever and I'd really like to go back and lay down if I may.
Okay.
I've been laying down for the last 2 weeks or 3.
You have some other people you want to notify to get estimates from?
So I'll have to take it in front of council prior to that, and then we'll have to put it out for bid.
I need to get
Okay. Any other questions from any other board members?
We need to make a motion to pass it to May the 9th.
Does a motion have to include going before the city council?
We can.
Now, let me see if I got this straight. Y'all gonna hire somebody to come to that house and take things that they don't own. And then I guess law enforcement will be involved in that because you know how that goes. And then will they shoot my dog? If my dog growls and barks at them, will they shoot my dog? What all are we talking about here? Is it really this important or is it egos, guy? I mean, is it
Anything
really
to
this
do with ego.
important?
Ain't got
It's just to
do
bring
with
your
ego.
property into compliance, sir. We've
I
been working with you
understand,
for
But
months
who
and
is it hurt?
months.
Where's the corpus delicti? Where's
We
the
just-
injured party?
We just need you to show some willingness,
Hell, I'm showing willingness. I'm here, aren't I? I've been coming here since November, sir.
but you're not doing anything, you know?
Well, I'm not. Would you please stop next time you drive by and let me show you what I've done? I can't do much. I just had surgery, sir. Does that not mean anything? I mean, y'all can bully me all you want to, but for Christ's sake, have a little bit of compassion. I mean, if it's making somebody that mad that that yard looks like it does, stop in and help. I'll be more glad to put a broom in your hand, a rake in your hand. I can use all the help I can get, and y'all seem like willing, you're willing to help if you can. And I thank you for that. Yeah, roll her eyes.
No, I'm sorry, I have an eyelash, sir.
It's okay. I'm used to you, but now you're a sweetheart. You're a nice lady.
Our biggest concern is, for me anyway, is the health and safety and the welfare of the community. And that includes you, Mr. Walker.
I'm fine. Thank you so much for asking. I'm fine, and I'll be fine. I just need some of this grief off of me so I can sleep, so I can enjoy a meal. Y'all don't know what this is doing to me. I don't think you care. I mean, I'm sure you do in some little way, but I don't mean to insult any of you. But God Almighty, what's your name? Oh, you're Mark. Okay. I didn't know who you were. I'm sorry. I think you're a new face in the crowd.
Do we have to get a motion to get the other bids, or is he just gonna get it?
Well, I think we need more than one bid
I
for
do
the
too.
city to go in and,
But nobody answered my question I asked a minute ago. So does this involve people that I don't know coming to that house and taking things they don't own? Is that what you're saying?
yes, sir, and if they do,
That's
and
what
if
they're
they
talking
do, they're gonna put a lien against your property
Understand?
because you haven't shown the willingness to clean your property up.
Oh, crap.
Here
Oh,
again,
crap.
here again,
So a
you've been
willingness.
here years. This is not a 2-month thing.
Hello?
I know.
And if you,
I bet they ain't a one of you in this crowd. If you run a mile over the speed limit to get here, you have unclean hands. If any of you run through a red light because I'm on the commission, I can get away with it. You have unclean hands.
This
Give
needs
me a
to
little bit of
stop.
compassion, please. Let me show you what I can do. I've got the motor. I've got a guy sitting over waiting on me right now. If I wasn't here doing this, I'd be over there watching him load that motorhome up. I want that crap out of there. I want it all gone. Because the last thing I want any of you to do is send people to my house that I don't know to shoot me or my dog.
Hmm.
Please don't do that to me.
If we get a motion to pass this case for another 30 days and continue to get bids on it and give him the opportunity to move some of the vehicles out of his front yard.
I make a motion, we do pass this to the April 9th meeting,
May 9th.
May 9th, I'm sorry. And Mr. Ritchie get the other 2 bids, so we have 3 bids as far as cleanup for that property.
Yes, sir.
I asked that it goes out at least one more month because I have to take this in front of council. I don't know if it's for one reading or 2. I have no idea.
It will be 2.
It would be 2,
Jeff, you can change the date to June the
June
13th.
13th. I'll
I
change
don't
it
like
to
doing
June
anything on the
13th.
13th. I have that phobia.
That's just when city code or city criteria, city charter that we have to meet is the second Monday of every month. We can't arbitrarily change it, but that gives you 60 days before he shows up with bids and things. And gives you into the second week of June. You should be able to get quite a bit of things cleaned up between now and then.
We should hope so soon, unless I have unless when I go up to Chattanooga, cancer centers, they say, hey, you're dying. And I'll go, cool, how long? Any release better than none, I guess.
Right. So
And I don't mean to be so negative, guys. But hey, I'm sick. My belly hurts. I don't feel good. I have a low grade fever, and I think I may have been exposed to COVID again.
in that case, you need to go home. and
Thank you. That's what I said when I walked in.
and-
I don't feel good, and I'm sorry for,
And codes will stay in touch with you via correspondence or phone calls, I
thank you.
guess.
That'd be fine.
Anything that they need. You'll do your best to notify him before somebody goes to look at that property when they'll be there to get.
You said somebody gonna come look at that property? That what you just said?
Somebody's got to, you can't bid. Somebody has to see the property. before
Yeah.
they bid.
Yeah. I'm out of here.
Okay.
I'll see you.
Before June 13th,
All righty,
back here, council will let me know
all righty.
what bid they've taken, and then I'll let y'all know, and we can move forward.
Okay, we had a motion on the floor to pass this to June the 13th.
I need somebody to second that motion.
Pardon me?
I need somebody to second that.
We had,
I'll second the motion.
yeah, we have a first and a second. I'll get a roll call, please.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Ezell,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Wilson,
Yes,
Chairman Winters.
Yes, ma'am. Next property on our agenda is 3416 Land Street. We have an update on that one.
So we've had a few dumpsters taken out of Land Street. Progress has been made on the inside. There's still quite a bit to do. As far as structural or anything, as far as the debris and overload of furniture and clothes and miscellaneous items, a lot of it has been taken out.
Are these photographs of land?
Yes, this is
Okay.
from Friday.
About as far as any of the electrical and sewer problems, et cetera, have they been
Um,
corrected? Anything on that property?
Not yet, because it's still in the cleanup phase, so Charlie hasn't been able to go into really discuss all of it.
Okay. Have an update on your side, ma'am?
I just wish the people that helped me get it like that would come help me get it unlike that.
Okay.
Um,
Probably need to ask you to state your name again for the record, please.
oh, I'm sorry, Lori Ezel.
Ms. Ezell. How much more time you think it'll take you to get your property back in condition?
Um, I just, have a hard time answering that. I don't have a vehicle, so I'm staying different places.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, that's all I want to do. I want to go home so badly. But,
How much more has to be done before you can inspect it?
For Charlie really to be able to go in to see the whole downstairs, there has been progress. I wasn't able to get pictures for you guys because there's no power and I didn't trust myself going down there by myself just because I couldn't really see anything. I know that there was one room, I guess that could have been a garage at one time that turned into a basement room. It is completely cleaned. I can walk from wall to wall. So there's progress, but I would say maybe another month or two really to kind of get it out so Charlie can get in.
Did WWTA, did they ever get involved in as far as the sewer problem goes, running in the yard?
I think the neighbors told me at one time, whenever it was in the yard, that they did go out there to address it and they fixed it, but the inside was never addressed or fixed.
Is the sewer problem, are the pipes busted on the interior of the home?
That's what we don't know.
haven't been able to do their part of that
Can't.
inspection yet.
There's
that's,
so much, we can't really identify the problem. We know that there's stuff down there just because what we were walking in, but we don't know. We know the area. We just don't know fully exactly what's kind of going on with it. And so we get everything out, then Charlie can go and see what's really going on.
It's my understanding anything outside the foundation of the home within about 5 feet belongs to WWTA, right? And the sewer problem was in the yard. It was not, of course, you haven't inspected underneath and in the basement yet, but okay. Any other questions?
I know that sanitation's out there every so often emptying the dumpster so we can put it back out there for her to utilize. And they've been over there, to my knowledge, twice now to empty it. So like I said, progress has been made. She's working. It's just taking more time than I'll really like for it to see.
And the power is still disconnected from the home? Yeah.
Water's still off, correct?
Water and power.
So I'd like to make a motion to move this to June 13th, at which time it's cleaned up and inspected for our June 13th meeting.
So you want to skip May meeting?
Yes,
You have 60 days.
yes.
That give you a little breathing room, 60 days.
yes,
Okay.
sir. Thank you.
Yours look great.
I
They do.
second,
I'm very proud.
Yeah,
Very
it's
proud.
awesome.
second
Um,
Mr. Ezel's motion.
I'm still confused as to what they're saying or what we're thinking is wrong with the sewer, because when I first moved there, our sewer was tied to my neighbors, and WWTA came out and they addressed it. We've had, for a while, we were having plumbing problems, like the toilet would stop up. And finally, we got to the root of it and found that there was, this is very strange, but a pair of a child's shorts, like covering the P trap. And well, the plumbing problem that I'm aware of was underneath the bathtub, but I don't know if that would be WWTA or
It's
or
yours.
like, yeah, I would think that would be,
So where we saw it, it's when you went upstairs, before you go in the back room where the washer and dryer was, that's kind of where the issue is. The plumbing issue. I'm not
the
exactly sure.
kitchen sink had been leaking. That's why the floor did that,
Mhm.
but
That's where we saw.
So
where we
right where
wanted-
your, right where your washer and dryer is.
Yeah.
There's a clean out right out the back window right there. It appears that there's a blockage or a line's collapsed right there, something. That's within the 4 or 5 feet that's gonna be hers and not WWTA's.
You're gonna need to get a plumber out to your house.
yeah, yeah. I don't think that's sewer though, so that'd be,
Oh, no, it's sewer.
Anything comes out of the sink or goes down the sinks and everything ties into the sewer,
Gotcha.
that'd be all plumbing.
would you show me
I'll be more
that
than
when,
happy
you-
to.
when, you- I mean, I'm just curious, because I was confused as to, I had no idea you were talking about over there, so,
Yeah, yeah.
okay.
definitely.
Do you have any help at all now, Ms. Ezell?
Not right now.
Okay.
I
Right.
mean, but I can get it done that, I know I can get it done, obviously the plumber and electrician, that's a different story. We'll address that when we get to
Yeah.
that.
I know it's been going on a long time, but maybe the next 60 days, you'll be able to get some of these things knocked out. I do, normally we don't recommend people, but I know an individual that may come help you do some of the manual labor part of it. at a very reasonable price, and I'll have him give the number from codes enforcement and get in touch with you if that would be some help to you. And we got it passed to June now.
Well, we made the motions. We haven't voted. I seconded Jeff's motion. Or now.
Okay.
Is that correct?
Yeah, correct. So we're gonna pass this case to June the 13th. Get a roll call, please.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Ezell,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Wilson,
Yes.
Chairman Winters.
Yes, ma'am. We'll come back a couple of months and
Okay,
address it
Thank
again.
you.
Good luck.
What condition it's in. Next property is 1532 Burns Avenue. We have an update on that property.
Yes, the pool has been filled up. Actually gonna get some gravel and put on top of it. That's recommending we close that one out. He's actually passed a few inspections, permit process as well, so. Right along.
Any other questions?
No, I was by there. I did see the pool field and it is looking a lot better. So I make a motion,
Build a house on that one at some point.
I make a motion to close case.
I second.
Have a motion second to close Burns Avenue. Get a roll call, please.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Ezell,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Wilson,
Yes.
Chairman Winters.
Yes, ma'am. Next property on the agenda is 5302 Lazard Street. Get an
I
update.
am
on-
happy to say that the homeowner, he has pulled a building permit. They have a family friend who is a carpenter. Of course, the homeowner can pull the building permit and he is gonna make the repairs.
The home's still condemned.
Stay condemned till the repairs are done.
That's staff recommendation.
All right.
Okay, you want to keep this one on the agenda and pass it till the work's complete?
What staff recommends, yes, sir.
I'm sorry. I'm
Yes,
kidding.
yes, sir. That's what staff recommends.
Do we need a meeting with them in May or do we need to wait till more of the work's done?
It depends on how fast he can get going over there. I mean, I probably knock it out in a weekend if he's got enough help. I would probably pass it or ask to pass it for a month and then we can go from there.
I make a motion, we pass it to May 9th, 2022.
Second.
Have a motion and a second, pass 5302 Lazard Street to May the 2nd,
9th,
May the 9th,
May the 9th.
May the 9th. Have a roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Ezell,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Wilson,
Yes,
Chairman Winters.
Yes, ma'am. Next property is 1222 Reeves Avenue. You got an update on that one?
Yeah, we have a permit pulled on it as well. Donald Payne pulled one on March 31st. Not done any building inspection. I know what the deal was last time we were in here, but now we have the permit open, so. Donald's a busy man.
so are you in communication with him to find out?
I am not. Michael Howell is.
Okay.
Staff would recommend that we leave this one open until inspections have been done.
Okay, we're looking at 30 days, 60 days. Any idea?
So
This is
last time I
found-
spoke to Donald, he said it would only take a couple of weeks, a week to a couple of weeks to get finished with it. You could pass it 30 or 60. I don't think it would.
But that's when he gets started.
That's when he gets started. Yes, sir. So his permit's good for 6 months. Hopefully
he's-
that's not what we're dealing with, but
Well, he'll be having some drier weather to deal with. And this is all foundation structural problems within the
absolutely.
basement, so hopefully he can get it knocked out. Have a motion to pass this.
Tell you what, since he pulled a permit, why don't we make a motion to pass this till June 13th and come back and give us an update.
We have a second.
A second.
We have a motion to second to pass this case to June the 13th. Get a roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Ezell,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Wilson,
Yes,
Chairman Winters.
Yes, ma'am. Next property is 5305 Connell Street. Have an update on that property, please.
Yeah, so the home has actually been sold in the last couple of days. The new owners, he's been to the office a few times now. Cleaning out and going through, he's trying to figure out if he's going to demo it or try to repair it. I suggested demo just off the amount of structural damage we have there, but
Does that house sitting on that property meet the proper setbacks and with the side boundaries?
So no, not off current code, but when it was a lot of record before we adopted that code, so it does. Actually, a lot of those houses over there don't meet anywhere near current code.
Looks like there's hardly enough room to walk between the fence and the side of the house.
So now
Yeah.
it's 75-foot road frontage, and I think that
Yeah.
one's maybe 50.
Yeah.
All of them down that block, they're like that.
Okay. What's your recommendation on this one?
That we pass it, give him a little time, probably another month. I don't know what he's gonna do.
Okay. We have a motion.
make a motion, we pass it to May the 9th. Because by then he should know.
He should have a game plan by then.
Round up with the price of lumber.
Second.
Have a motion to second to pass it to May the 9th. Get a roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Ezell,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Winters,
Yes,
I mean
ma'am.
Wilson,
Yes.
sorry, Chairman Winters.
Yes, ma'am. Next property is 1500 Keeble Street. Do we have any representatives here from that property?
Ernie, you need.
Both of them.
Do you swear the testimony you're about to give?
Okay. You state your name, please, for the record.
Yes, my name is Terrence Jones with the Presley Law Firm, and I represent the property owner, Mr. Patel.
Okay. Mr. Ritchie?
I'm a long-winded here, guys. So this call, that started on March 4th, 2020. At a person living in a crawl space. Got to the property, there was crawl space. I think he got arrested that day. I'm not sure. I've not spoken to PD about that. Code enforcement walked around the property with the tenants, asked if they could see the inside of the units, and the tenants all agreed. Code enforcement found numerous code violations. The units out there are not numbered. I'm just gonna. I gave them a number. Unit A had no work and smoke alarms. The electrical panel had arc marks on it. Front screen door going in there was a double-sided key lock. Two of the bedrooms in Unit A, they didn't have egress windows. B had no work and smoke alarms. The egress stairs were unsafe and dilapidated. I can literally take them and pick them up off the ground and off the house. Unit C had two sets of unsafe dilapidated egress stairs, blocked means of egress and living room, a very small passageway into the kids' room that a fireman literally had to take his pack off just to be able to squeeze through. Once you got in there, the egress door that was on the other side had a castle-style bar lock on it. As soon as you got through it, you went out onto the original front porch. That door was screwed in from the outside in, so you couldn't get out that way either. And there was a fire there actually Friday.
10 o'clock.
Unit D, it's the standalone unit in the back of the property. The living conditions in it were poor at best. It had a makeshift 2x4 wall with plywood sheeting. That was the entryway for the makeshift bedroom they had back there. It didn't meet egress. It had open wires in the kitchen area. It didn't have a separate power meter or a breaker box in the unit. Later discovered that the panel was in the electrical panel for Unit D, the standalone, was actually in Unit A. Unit E, this is another one. It had motorcycles parked inside the living quarters. Strong smell of gas was in the apartment. And it was right beside some Romex spliced wiring that was into an extension cord. Really bad situation there. This unit had no ventilation. Both the egress doors has issues. One door had no handle to exit. You could unlock it, but you couldn't really pull it open. You'd have to dig your fingers in. The other one had a master lock on the outside of it. So if somebody's in there, lock it up, you're stuck in there. Going into the bathroom of Unit E, it had a bar style exterior door. Double key locks on it as well. Locked up, mechanical failure, whatever, you're not getting out. So that was pretty much it as far as big stuff. So the zoning for that building is C2, which doesn't allow an apartment complex. The home was purchased in 2015 and the description of the property was commercial with general office. In 2017, the description changed to multifamily with a triplex, and that was through the assessor's office. I talked to them on, I think it was Tuesday. That was what they said. They didn't really have a reason on why it changed. It wasn't from the city.
So since it's not from the city, then it's not technically,
Just a descriptive narrative they put on the property cards, and she said they can get that from many different things. So basically, the building, it's had unimproved conversions and very unsafe conversions.
So you've got 5 apartments in there right now? or-
We have 4 in the main complex and then 1 standalone in the back.
And the proper zoning would be R2 for that?
R2, R3 probably.
Okay.
When the property was purchased in 2015, was it already divided up that way?
So as far back as I can go, it was a dentist office. And
that's what I remember it being. Didn't they make dentures and
dentures,
things like
yes.
that, crowns, so forth?
in C2, you can have a business with an apartment on it. It's clearly secondary to the business up front.
Yeah, but it's not a business now.
No, it's an apartment complex.
I noticed on the tax records that it says 40% is apartments, 60% is commercial.
It's all apartments.
It's all apartments now. Here's a copy of Hamilton County Tax Assessor's report. I think Mr. Patel bought it from Mr. Hawkins. Is that correct? I noticed one thing, when I pulled the address up, it came up with 2 addresses listed on there as property taxes. And Mr. Hawkins never did pay his personality taxes. He owes over $1,000 still, but they've got him assigned to that address, 1500 Keeble Street. But I don't know if he's still around or not, but, oh, did he?
Bought it from his sister.
Mr. Ritchie, what are your recommendations?
My staff's recommendation is the building stay condemned until the property is brought into compliance.
Which would go back to commercial?
As it sits right now, I mean, there's ways to get it rezoned.
But if it gets rezoned into R3, then,
Whatever zoning they would like.
Okay.
But they have to go before the city council to request that, do they not? Or the zoning board first?
Zoning and appeals, yeah.
Go through RPA and then.
RPA and then the planning commission.
Yes, sir.
What's the rent bit that you're charging for these units?
What's the rent amount? In the front, I'm charging 1,400 and then basically about for the other 4. And the 40% I've got. Brandon, I know you had mentioned that, the 40%, I've got quadruplexes that
You got what there?
quadruplexes that
Oh.
are 40%, 4 and above. But I just thought about that because you said it.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking that tax was pretty high, but I was paying the right amount of taxes, I thought.
Yeah.
And I thought, I try to lower the taxes, actually.
Well, your zoning would be less. I mean, your property taxes would be less if it had the proper zoning. I think it costs you more because it's under the C, under commercial.
Right.
Okay.
So if it was residential, it would probably go down a little bit, my thoughts, you know.
I tend to agree. I think the point, I mean, we dispute the condition that's been reported, but I think the more operative point at this point is that due to the fire that occurred at the property last Friday, the tenants have all vacated the property. All of the power meters have been pulled on the property and it's not inhabitable at this point. And at this, Mr. Patel is going to be engaging with his insurance company to get some work done and we could come back before this court, this body, or speak with the codes enforcement folks about inspections as those repairs proceed. But at this point, I think based on the notice that I received, it seemed like the primary concern was having the tenants vacate, and that's essentially moot because they are gone at this point
Okay, is
already.
he going to refund their rent they haven't utilized up yet?
I think he's already
think it's
started.
fair
I
that
think
he's
he's
already
already, I think he's already started that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I know there was one lady that like $2,100 up.
Yeah. And you,
She got partial payment. She 1 week prorated for the amount that she stayed.
Okay.
What was her rent? 1,400. So like $325, $325, and then $100 for the power, I mean, the sewer, the water. 50 for the sewer, 50 for the water. I just prorated. I get the right amount in.
I have a question.
I've got a sewer and a water bill. There's 4 people living there. 1 week of usage.
Come up to the microphone.
How do you calculate the water and sewer? Is it ratio utility billing or
It's
how are you calculating that?
between the 4 units. I know what each one of them is when they're before the tenant move in, and that's how I just divide it up amongst 4.
Okay, when I spoke with the fire chief, he mentioned that when they pulled the meters, there was still power running to one apartment, correct? And that the power board had to disconnect at the pole on top. Okay, when I spoke with Chief Williams, for one of the apartments, I think it was the one with where the fire started, when they pulled the meter, there was still power to that unit when they dumped that meter out. So they had to meet with the power board, and the power board recommended not only pulling the meters, but shut the power down at the pole. So, I know you mentioned that it would, as they get further along and start getting power and things back, apparently there's some kind of severe short in there that's going to be a great hazard for whoever's going to be doing that work.
I apologize. That's the first we're hearing about that. So
Yeah.
I
I was
didn't
on
hear from-
scene and I talked to the fire chief about it. I heard him and the power board collaborating about it.
But did that happen? Were they able to get it disconnected? as
They
well?
were able to get it disconnected, but by putting the meters back in is not going to turn the power back on.
Okay.
Power board has to make sure that whatever that short is in there has been corrected for anybody working. So what that tells me is somewhere along the line, whoever did a lot of that changing did just some, I guess, language half-ass work. Jeopardy to the citizens. It's jeopardy to you too, like, financially. Last thing I'd hate to see is a tenant be hurt or injured in a fire, and it can happen very quick with the smoke and looking, like when he mentioned there's motorcycle inside an apartment, that bothers me. Do any type of inspection on your properties? Go in once a year, once every 6 months, and inspect.
Outside, if I can get in.
Okay.
Smoke alarms and all that was in there. I'm saying that there wasn't, but I've got pictures.
Pictures from that day?
Oh, prior.
There were not working smoke alarms.
Okay.
Well, about that, but we checked them out before I rent the unit.
Do you check them when you do the inspection every 3 months?
No,
So as we stand right now, the property's condemned.
the batteries are usually for 2 years, and I don't just go in every one of them. If I can
Pending.
get in some of the units, I'm not able to get in, but I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Well, I
That's
think all fire departments nationwide usually recommend you change your batteries once a year, usually in October when the time changes.
Correct.
But moving forward, we're not going to have time changes anymore. So we're going to have to devise another mechanism to do that as far as if you plan to keep it.
But there's a few of them that are hardwired. Battery fails, the hardwire kicks, or vice versa.
Alarms go off that day, Friday?
Upon our arrival, there were no activated smoke alarms inside that structure. In Unit C, where the fire occurred, there was a hardwired smoke alarm just inside the hallway moving to the bedroom where the fire was located. However, that hardwired smoke alarm was not in place.
When you rebuild this property, are you going to put it back into 4 or 5 different apartments inside? Well, you got, what, about 5,000 square feet there?
I think it really depends on what we're able to do on the zoning primarily.
I want to try to refurbish them, get them back on up to date.
Well, the zoning to the right side of the property is zone residential, is it not? 2 down. Yeah. Is that what your intentions are, is to rehab it and turn it into apartments? Okay.
Yep.
So the next step is to go before zoning, get the zoning corrected, and you're making a claim with the insurance company to see what they participate in, and as you go along, you'll get your inspections on your water, your electric and sewer.
So this is not even something, so I'm with the International Residential Code. That building has to be up to standard for the international building. Code. That criteria is the apartment complex.
He has to,
Our walls,
so he has to meet with and get the zoning changed before,
yeah.
Anything else can-
If that's the route that they're wanting to go, then they need to come in and sit down with my
Wouldn't he have to go back with sprinklers as well and
Yeah.
monitored fire alarms?
it will be all hardwired smoke alarms, correct? There'll be a lot of doors that are going to need to be changed, correct? Because there's no,
Oh, it's a big process. It's not
better just tear it down, start over.
Well, that's something they can work out through codes. And
Zoning is, I
Zoning.
guess, your next step.
Sure.
Zoning and appeals.
I think we're currently noticed for a hearing on the 20th, but I need to get with the city about moving that because I'm actually starting a jury trial that day. And I'm not available for that hearing, but well, the same notice for today's hearing also had a notice for the zoning board on the 20th. So I'm not sure.
you want to see what the status is in 60 days from now?
We could at least know what the insurance company's probably going to do by then and provide an update.
And as the property stands, there's no admittance to the building, correct?
Now, if
Code.
tenants need to
Property
go
will
and
stay
get-
condemned.
But
being condemned as it is, if tenants need to go, all they have to do is call the office. Stuff and.
Okay.
Trying to work with everybody best we can. There is a couple tenants here, and I think some of them.
all right, I'll make a motion. We move it to June the 11th or June the 13th, 2022 at 5:30
I'd
PM.
like to hear them speak beforehand.
So, well, we got to have a second to my motion. I don't think that has any influence on setting the next meeting for,
We have a motion on the floor.
And your motion is to move, just move this to June 13th.
Yeah.
Not to stay condemned.
oh, well, we'll stay condemned because codes controls that. Stay condemned and we'll find out from,
We'll get an update on it June the 13th.
because, and you will get copies of the insurance adjustments. Oh, okay. Nice to see those.
That's not in my scope of work, guys.
Still have a motion on the floor.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to pass this case to June the 13th. And get a roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Ezell,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Wilson. Chairman Winters.
Yes, ma'am. I know that property at 1500 Keeble is a very valuable piece of property. I saw one house on Bennett Road yesterday, 1,700 square feet, $329,000. This under contract. It's unbelievable what the
How big were
property.
are these units? They're in, the whole building is 5,000 square feet? 4880.
That include the building, second building behind it. I know there were what, 3 or 4 motorcycles back there in a fenced in area. motorcycles inside with the potential for gas fumes that compromises the safety of all the people in all units.
You want to give us your name, please, ma'am?
Latanya Polk.
Sorry.
Latanya Polk.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
I had just moved down here on the 1st and literally stayed in a place not even a week. They came to the house. When they came to the house, actually, I came outside because I was finna cook. When they came to the house, and that's when they asked me, can they come, and so I had let them, and it was like a lot of stuff wrong. He had told me that he bought that place, used to be a dentist, flipped it over, house. So then after the fire, which Red Cross helped me for 2 days. Rest of the days, I'm coming out my pocket. I feel like a landlord should check on their tenants if they have a heart, but some don't. And which I texted them last night, and I asked them, look, I'm tapped out, I need my money. So he said, come get it. Went over there to pick it up. He wanted to give me a check. I didn't want to take the check because I felt like you played me with that. How I know that's, it was gonna bounce or anything. So I did took the check. And then that's when he had given me $15.75 out of 21. Talking about you stayed a week. No, I didn't. Then I'm like, you don't have no sympathy. Like, I'm paying $90 a night. On weekends, it's higher. It's $200 a night on weekends.
That's at that property on Keble Street.
No, that's the hotel you're staying at.
Yes. I'm at a hotel now.
American Red Cross put them in hotels Friday morning, excuse me. Total of 11 people occupying that, 7 children and 4 adults, I believe. Fire Chief Williams, Cross to put them up.
They only paid for 2. Rest of that, I'm coming out my pocket.
Polk, were you able to obtain renter's insurance prior to this?
Oh, I just moved. Like literally. And then all my stuff is like, I gotta wash because it's smoky.
You moved here from Atlanta, correct?
Atlanta.
Any way in showing goodwill, you could give her full deposit back? Mother with 3 children there that day?
Yes.
I mean,
I could if it was approached correctly, not with
Okay.
coming there with cash and with. bad
how
language and a lot
how
of
do you
stuff.
want it approached?
Sir, could I have my money back just like when I was texted? I said, yes. But it was all handled incorrectly. First, I said, I'm gonna give you a check. Give her the full amount. I wasn't even gonna hold 1 week. Then back and forth with bad language and stuff. So threatening, I don't take that lightly. So I went ahead and initiated and took the 1 week of the rent and the water just to be that way. I had no intentions of keeping the 21.
Have a lease agreement together?
You ever determine what caused the fire?
Dr. Keeter from, their insurance is gonna take care of it, not my insurance. On the tennis park.
actually, through the fire department, I am the fire investigator for the city. The cause of the fire is currently ruled undetermined. I'm not an electrical engineer. I can't, with a level of certainty, say that that space heater had an electrical malfunction without examining it, without putting it underneath a microscope to look for any kind of arcs or failures inside of that heater. So as far as, yes, the fire started within apartment C's bedroom. In the area of fire origin, there was a small space heater the tenant claimed that she had purchased a few months prior to use in that bedroom. But as far as anything, as far as being electrical that I identified as being an issue and starting that fire, that is undetermined on the fire department's part. So, and that's how the cause of the fire will be ruled, is undetermined.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. The day before the fire, Raven Swafford, apartment B, the day before the fire, right after the code came in, the next day, he wanted to come in. I had an altercation with him. I got it on video. I had to send it to the fire chief or whatever. He said he hopes the whole effing building burns down. And I said, okay, I'll be sure to tell them that. And he said, yeah, I hope it all effing burns down. And then I said, okay, well, you're not coming in here. Then he wanted to come inside and look. So I told him no. He said, okay, I didn't want you living here anyways. So then I did. I cussed him out. I told him to get the F out of there. So just, I don't know if he has something to do, but that does need, y'all need to be aware that he did say that. And then also the day of the fire, he was outside of my apartment saying, oh, you're going to tell, like, because I told him I was going to tell, I was going to show the video. He was screaming outside. I mean, I know he's not going to do anything to help me. He said either way, like he has this lawyer here. So, but I was set out with my 2-year-old. So like, he does not care, obviously. I really don't know what else to say besides that, but
Did y'all see the apartments before y'all moved in and leased them and everything?
I know that we cleaned everything up. I put there was not a smoke alarm. I bought every smoke alarm in that apartment. I bought 4 of them. He bought none, so he's lying about that too. No, I cleaned up the apartment. It literally had a fridge covered in maggots coming out of it. I had to clean all of that up to move into there. So just, that's what he is. I don't know. I'm like probably like just not making any sense, but like my life's been turned upside down within 4 days. So from what I knew, it was a rentable place. You know, it should be, he should not be able to rent a place and then all of a sudden it's not in code. But you know, he's not going to do nothing to help any of me or the kids or anybody else there. Yeah. I don't know what else I could say but that.
Well, from the housing standpoint, I think we've done about what we can do here. These other issues are beyond our control. And but anyway, we've had a motion, we've had a second, we voted on it, and we'll address it again on June the 13th and to see how we go along with compliance and the rehab of the property. And
So do you need a formal apology from her to give her the rest of her money back? We just not move forward. You give her money back, you go your way, because you got your hands full. Of insurance companies.
Yeah, she's welcome to pick the money up Wednesday.
Okay. Is that good with you, Ms. Pope? Okay. I hope this goes smoothly for you. I know what dealing with insurance companies can be like. Good luck. What time?
Same time, 9:30, 10 o'clock.
Okay. Right. Okay. So with that being said, I don't have anything else.
no. We have any other business to come before the housing board? We're adjourned.